What's happening, Achievers? Ajay Sidhu here from Invincible Achievers. Today we're going to talk about how to find the perfect anything. In life, in partnership, in job, anything you want, how to find the perfect anything. So you can find the perfect anything you want by knowing yourself first. First, you have to know yourself. Who are you? What type of person are you? What do you like? You need to write all this stuff down. Once you've written it down, you've got a blueprint of who you are. Once you've done that, then the second part is to find the perfect thing that you want, whatever category it is, you have to know what you want. So who are you and what do you want? There's 3 categories in life. Once you've done these 2 things, there's 3 categories in life that we have to know about. 3 sections. One is the hot, call it a hot market. The middle one is a warm market. And the final one is the cold market. Now, it's a bit complicated, this idea. You need to understand this, because once you understand this, you can get the perfect anything. The warm, the hot, the warm, and the cold. That's what life is. Now, the category that you fit in, the type of person you are, you're in the hot section. You're the hot. Whatever you are, that's what you want. That's your section. You're the hot. But if you are going to look for something, you need to be finding the same category. There's no point in going out and looking for a different category. So, for example, this is a concept from marketing, but in marketing, you can bring it into life. I heard this from Stephen Larson. He was talking about an example of mud running. People who love mud running. When you're marketing to those people, you want to be finding people that love running and who've done mud running. Just stay with me now for a second. There's no point in marketing to people that are couch potatoes, because it's going to be a tough sell. You got to remember that. So how does this apply to us, and how can we apply it to us? Right, so you've got your category of who you are. You've figured out what you want, those 2 categories, and now you just need to slot it into the correct process. This is the secret to finding the perfect anything. So for instance, let's take an example. Perfect job. You want the perfect job. Imagine your perfect job is management. You want management. This is the category. So management is in its own category, the hot section. But you, yourself, you're lazy. So you have actually slotted yourself into the cold section, laziness. Now, do you think you're going to get the management position? No. As long as you know yourself. If you try going for management and you're in the cold section and you're trying to go for a hot section, which is management, then you're setting yourself up for disappointment. Do you get this? So what you need to do is improve your skills. If you know that you want to get into this section, you need to improve yourself. You have to jump from the cold to the warm. Work. Get the work ethic. Start moving, start knowing, start reading. And then from the warm section, you start moving up. And then you get to the hot section, your goal. Let's take another example. The perfect partner. If you're looking for the perfect partner, let's imagine your perfect partner is Brad Pitt. You want Brad Pitt. Yeah, Brad Pitt. But you yourself, you're a hermit. You like staying at home. Do you think you're going to find a Brad Pitt? No. Because Brad Pitt's an actor. He's an extrovert. He's out in the community. He doesn't stay indoors. I'm not talking about the Brad Pitt, but someone like that. He's in the hot market that you're going for. That's your goal. And you're in the cold. And you have to jump up. You have to improve yourself, your skill set. You have to, if you do actually want to go for that, then you got to learn to go out and socialize. You got to learn how to build rapport. You have to learn all those techniques, because they're all learnable. However, if you think that's going to be too tough, then stick with your own market. Look for someone who likes staying at home, because you will have a happier life that way. If you do not want to jump up to the management position, you think, oh God, it's too hard, then stick in your own category. Now, I'm not saying hot, warm, and cold is any category. Any of them are good. I'm just saying in the stage of life, what you want to get is always going to be in the hot market. And where we are at this moment, we are in the cold market, but we want to be in the hot market. We want to be in the hot market. That's achieving. If you don't want to be in the hot market, if you don't want to go through the stages of getting to that stage, of getting a management position, of achieving or getting the ideal partner, then to have a happy life, to get the perfect anything, stick with your same category and ignore the Joneses. Don't follow the Joneses. You know that the saying that they say, I've forgotten the saying, but you guys know the saying. It's something to do with the Joneses. So with that, there's another example, maybe a perfect car. I mean, my perfect car is a Lamborghini. I love a Lamborghini. Now, Lamborghini, you got to think, that's the hot market. That's a hot market. Where are you in life? If you're in the cold market and you need to jump up financially, maybe you're broke and you want the Lamborghini, then you got to figure out what you need to do to jump from the cold market to the warm market to the hot market. Simple. You just need to figure out the route that it takes to jump from one side to the next side. So the perfect life. If you want to have a big house, a big house, plane, island, you want something like that, but again, you don't like to work. You're setting yourself up for disappointment. And these stages, you're setting up yourself, if you aren't willing to jump up and you're just dreaming about the hot market, then you're setting yourself up for disappointment, rejection, failure, upset, depression. You have to know that you're jumping out of your circle to the next circle to the next circle to get what you want. That's the reason why you need to know yourself. Second, you need to know what you're trying to get. That way you can combine it and figure out how to get it, what to do. And when you're jumping from one circle to the next, that's the uncomfortable zone. That's where everyone's always talking about, get in the uncomfortable zone. You have to jump to the uncomfortable zone. When you're moving up from the cold to the warm, it's going to be uncomfortable because you're going to have to learn new skills. You're going to have to learn a new way of doing things. And when you're jumping up to the next stage and then the next stage, you're always jumping out of the circle, which in between is the uncomfortable zone. So an example is any lottery winner, for instance. They're in the cold market and they want to have an amazing life, have all this wealth, and all of a sudden, bam, it's given to them. It's jumped in. They've won the lottery. What happens? They haven't worked. They haven't gained the muscle of jumping through the uncomfortable zone to the next level, and then finally to the hot market where all the wealth is. They just jump straight in. They can't handle it. They haven't got the muscle. They spend it all, and they go back into the cold zone or further down. They actually drop down further. So that's something where we have to realize that if we do want to achieve, there's a cold, warm, and hot. We have to jump out of those rings into the uncomfortable zone, into the next zone where we get comfortable, thinking, oh yeah, we're comfy here. We're in the warm zone now. And then we're cool. But just remember, that's not the end goal. You have to jump out again, get uncomfortable into the hot zone. And that's where everything that you have written down for step number 2 exists. But just remember, if you do not want to do that, then stick with the ring that you're in and don't start trying to delve into it like the lottery winners, jumping into the hot and destroying themselves in the process. I mean, I've heard of many stories where the lottery winners have won the lottery. They go on a spending spree, buy massive cars, big houses, start going down the path of drugs, and finally they lose all the money. They haven't invested anything. They haven't actually built the muscle. They go down. They're in debt. They end up in jail. Done. That's worse than the cold zone. You guys getting this? The hot, so we got the cold, warm, and hot. And to move from the circles, we have to know where we're going, because each part of life is in each of those categories. Now, the hot market is the ultimate achievement that you always want. But remember, there's always the steps before. Maybe you just want to buy a car. I know you want to get a Lamborghini one day, but maybe you just want to buy a car. That's the warm zone. What do you have to do to get to the warm zone? Get into the uncomfortable zone first, which is the in-between. Jump up. This is most of the world knows Justin Bieber, the singer that was found on YouTube. Fantastic skills, amazing voice. Was found very young. He was in the cold zone with a massive amount of skill. He wanted to be in the hot zone. He jumped straight into the hot zone. He had management behind him. However, if you have followed his life, or if you know his life, how he's been in so much turmoil with the police, with the incidents that's been happening, with his attitude, it's all because he started young. Now, guys, just remember, if you're struggling in life, if you're finding it tough in life, if you're thinking that, oh, geez, I am in the oven right at this moment and I am being cooked hard and I don't know how much more I can take of this, that's the uncomfortable zone. You're moving from one zone, the cold or the warm, to the next zone. And every path, everyone walks down this path. Everyone feels that. Because if you didn't feel it, and if it was easy, then everybody would have everything they ever want. But you have to be deserving of the end goal. And the only way you're going to be deserving of the end goal is by walking down a path where you are tested. My mum always used to say this, and my mum still says it. To forge a weapon, it needs to be put in heat. And it's hammered and hammered and hammered and hammered until it's created. And once it's created, it's a weapon. But that weapon, it can be used to protect or destroy. And that's the same thing. When you're jumping from one circle to the next, just remember, you are forging yourself. You are sculpting yourself. The only way you know yourself is by sculpting yourself. And when you're jumping into the uncomfortable zone and into the next ring, you're sculpting yourself. You're sculpting yourself as a weapon for good or weapon for bad. Because you can become whatever you want to do in that circle. And if you haven't worked on yourself, your inner self, that's why step one is know yourself, then you're just going to be creating destruction, arrogance, annoyance, not adding value to people's lives. When you move up, it's going to continue. Because as you move up from one circle to the next, the only thing that happens to yourself, apart from achieving whatever you wanted, is whatever's inside of you amplifies. It just gets bigger. You just add on a bigger speaker with a bigger amp. Boom. When you're in the cold zone, you've got a small amp, small speaker. Beep. But then as you get to warm, boom, boom, boom. As you get to the hot zone, you got the big speaker, you're blaring out, everyone's looking at you, all eyes on you. And then whatever's inside of you is being amplified and spread out. Just remember that, guys. So get into the uncomfortable zone, and you have to, guys, either get into the uncomfortable zone or stay at home, because this game is very, very uncomfortable. To be able to jump from one ring to the next ring, it is uncomfortable. But just know everyone goes through it. Anyone that's trying to achieve goes through that uncomfortable zone. So you're not alone. So play the game. It's just a game. At the end of the day, you can always just go back. Don't worry about that. But just keep moving forward to the warm zone, to the hot zone. Keep pushing yourself. Keep progressing. Sculpt yourself. Forge yourself as a weapon of good. A weapon to spread love. A weapon to take care of people, to protect. Be that person, because you can be that person. And guys, keep spreading love. Keep adding value to people's lives. And just remember, we're one idea away from changing the future. Take care. Bye.